Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics is an education grouping used in the United States and elsewhere. The acronym refers to the academic disciplines of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The term is typically used when addressing education policy and curriculum choices in schools to improve competitiveness in science and technology development. It has implications for workforce development, national security concerns and immigration policy. The acronym arose in common use shortly after an interagency meeting on science education held at the U.S. National Science Foundation chaired by the then NSF Director Rita Colwell. A director from the Office of Science Division of Workforce Development for Teachers and Scientists, Dr. Peter Falletra, suggested the change from the older acronym SMET to STEM. Dr. Colwell, expressing some dislike for the older acronym, responded by suggesting NSF to institute the change. One of the first NSF projects to use the acronym was STEMTEC, the Science, Technology, Engineering and Math Teacher Education Collaborative at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, which was funded in 1997. Other variations: STEM, ISTEM Australia, Metals, introduced by Susu at Teachers College, Columbia University. MINT, a less common term with a similar meaning. MINT is used more often in Germany. STREM adds robotics as a field. STEAM adds the arts as a field for a more holistic view. STEAM, more focus on applied mathematics. STREAM adds both religion and arts. GEMS, used for programs to encourage females into these science fields. STEMM, geographic distribution. United States. In the United States, the acronym began to be used in education and immigration debates in initiatives to begin to address the perceived lack of qualified candidates for high-tech jobs. It also addresses concern that the subjects are often taught in isolation, instead of as an integrated curriculum. Maintaining a citizenry that is well-versed in the STEM fields is a key portion of the public education agenda of the United States. The acronym has been widely used in the immigration debate regarding access to United States work visas for immigrants who are skilled in these fields. This version of the term is accredited to Texas. It has also become commonplace in education discussions as a reference to the shortage of skilled workers and inadequate education in these areas. The term tends not to refer to the non-professional sectors of the fields that remain more invisible, such as electronics assembly line work. For example, National Science Foundation. Many organizations in the United States follow the guidelines of the National Science Foundation on what constitutes a STEM field. The NSF uses a broader definition of STEM subjects that include subjects in the fields of chemistry, computer and information technology, science, engineering, geosciences, life sciences, mathematical sciences, physics and astronomy, social sciences, and STEM education and learning research. Eligibility for scholarship programs such as the CSM STEM Scholars Program use the NSF definition. The NSF is the only American federal agency whose mission includes support for all fields of fundamental science and engineering, except for medical sciences. Its disciplinary program areas include scholarships, grants, fellowships in fields such as biological sciences, computer and information science and engineering, education and human resources, engineering, environmental research and education, geosciences, international science and engineering, mathematical and physical sciences, social, behavioral and economic sciences, cyber infrastructure and polar programs. Immigration policy. Although many organizations in the United States follow the guidelines of the National Science Foundation on what constitutes a STEM field, the United States Department of Homeland Security has its own functional definition used for immigration policy. In 2012, DHS or ICE announced an expanded list of STEM-designated degree programs that qualify eligible graduates on student visas for an optional practical training extension. Under the OPT program, international students who graduate from colleges and universities in the United States are able to remain in the country and receive training through work experience for up to 12 months. Students who graduate from a designated STEM degree program can remain for an additional 17 months on an OPT STEM extension. STEM-eligible degrees in the U.S. Immigration. For more details on temporary foreign workers, see Global Labor Arbitrage, H-1B visa, and optional practical training. An exhaustive list of STEM disciplines does not exist because the definition varies by organization. The U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement lists disciplines including physics, actuarial science, chemistry, biology, mathematics, applied mathematics, statistics, computer science, computational science, psychology, biochemistry, robotics, computer engineering, electrical engineering, electronics, mechanical engineering, industrial engineering, information science, civil engineering, aerospace engineering, chemical engineering, astrophysics, astronomy, optics, nanotechnology, nuclear physics, mathematical biology, operations research, neurobiology, biomechanics, bioinformatics, acoustical engineering, geographic information systems, atmospheric sciences, educational, instructional technology, software engineering, and educational research. Education STEM generally supports broadening the study of engineering within each of the other subjects, and beginning engineering at younger grades, even elementary school. It also brings STEM education to all students rather than only the gifted programs. In his 2012 budget, President Barack Obama renamed and broadened the Mathematics and Science Partnership to award block grants to states for improving teacher education in those subjects. STEM education often uses new technologies such as RepRap 3D printers to encourage interest in STEM fields. In 2006, the United States National Academies expressed their concern about the declining state of STEM education in the United States. Its Committee on Science, Engineering, and Public Policy developed a list of 10 actions. Their top 3 recommendations were to increase America's talent pool by improving K-12 science and mathematics education, strengthen the skills of teachers through additional training in science, mathematics and technology, enlarge the pipeline of students prepared to enter college and graduate with STEM degrees. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration also has implemented programs and curricula to advance STEM education in order to replenish the pool of scientists, engineers and mathematicians who will lead space exploration in the 21st century. Individual states, like California, have run pilot after-school STEM programs, for example, to learn what the most promising practices are and how to implement them to increase the chance of student success. Another state to invest in STEM education is Florida, where Florida Polytechnic University, Florida's first public university for engineering and technology dedicated to science, technology, engineering and mathematics, was established. Continuing STEM education has expanded to the post-secondary level through master's programs such as the University of Maryland's STEM program as well as the University of Cincinnati. American Competitiveness Initiative. In the State of the Union address on January 31, 2006, President George W. Bush announced the American Competitiveness Initiative. Bush proposed the initiative to address shortfalls in federal government support of educational development and progress at all academic levels in the STEM fields. In detail, the initiative called for significant increases in federal funding for advanced R&D programs and an increase in U.S. higher education graduates within STEM disciplines. The NASA means business competition, sponsored by the Texas Space Grant Consortium, furthers that goal. College students compete to develop promotional plans to encourage students in middle and high school to study STEM subjects and to inspire professors in STEM fields to involve their students in outreach activities that support STEM education. The National Science Foundation has numerous programs in STEM education, including some for K-12 students such as the ITEST program that supports the Global Challenge Award ITEST program. STEM programs have been implemented in some Arizona schools. They implement higher cognitive skills for students and enable them to inquire and use techniques used by professionals in the STEM fields. The STEM Academy is a national non-profit status organization dedicated to improving STEM literacy for all students. It represents a recognized national next-generation high-impact academic model. The practices, strategies, and programming are built upon a foundation of identified national best practices which are designed to improve underrepresented minority and low-income student growth, close achievement gaps, decrease dropout rates, increase high school graduation rates, and improve teacher and principal effectiveness. The STEM Academy represents a flexible use academic model that targets all schools and is for all students. Projects lead the way as a leading provider of STEM education curricular programs to middle and high schools in the United States. The national nonprofit organization has over 5,200 programs in over 4,700 schools in all 50 states. Programs include a high school engineering curriculum called Pathway to Engineering, a high school biomedical sciences program, and a middle school engineering and technology program called Gateway to Technology. PLTW provides the curriculum and the teacher professional development and ongoing support to create transformational programs in schools, districts, and communities. PLTW programs have been endorsed by President Barack Obama and United States Secretary of Education Arne Duncan, as well as various state, national, and business leaders. STEM Education Coalition. The Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics Education Coalition works to support STEM programs for teachers and students at the U.S. Department of Education, the National Science Foundation, and other agencies that offer STEM-related programs. Activity of the STEM Coalition seems to have slowed since September 2009. Boy Scouts of America. The Boy Scouts of America have announced the rollout of an awards program in the spring of 2012 to promote more interest and involvement in the STEM disciplines. The Nova and Supernova Awards are available to Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts and Venturers as they complete specific requirements appropriate to their program level in each of the four main STEM program areas: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Department of Defense programs. The elsewhere mission is a free, web-based science, mathematics and technology competition for students in grades 6 through 9 sponsored by the U.S. Army. Each webinar is focused on a different step of the scientific method and is presented by an experienced elsewhere mission cyber guide. Cyber guides are military and civilian volunteers with a strong background in STEM and STEM education, who are able to provide valuable insight into science, technology, engineering, and mathematics to students and team advisors. Starbase is a premier educational program, sponsored by the Office of the Assistant Secretary of Defense for Reserve Affairs. Students interact with military personnel to explore careers and make connections with the real world. The program provides students with 20 to 25 hours of stimulating experiences at National Guard, Navy, Marines, Air Force Reserve and Air Force bases across the nation. CPISH is an innovative underwater robotics program that trains teachers to teach their students how to build an underwater remotely operated vehicle in an in-school or out-of-school setting. Students build the ROV from a kit composed of low-cost, easily accessible parts. following a curriculum that teaches basic engineering and science concepts with a marine engineering theme. Legislation. America Competes Act of 2007. The America Competes Act became law on August 9, 2007. The act responds to concerns that the United States may not be able to compete economically with other nations in the future due to insufficient investment today in science and technology research and science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education and workforce development. The America Competes Act is intended to increase the nation's investment in science and engineering research and in STEM education from kindergarten to graduate school and postdoctoral education. The Act authorizes funding increases for the National Science Foundation, National Institute of Standards and Technology laboratories, and the Department of Energy Office of Science over FY 2008-FY 2010. Robert Gabris, Director of Education at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center, articulated success as increased student achievement, early expression of student interest in STEM subjects, and student preparedness to enter the workforce. In January 2014, the U.S. House of Representatives Research and Technology Subcommittee held a hearing to examine STEM education programs run by the private sector. In 2014, the U.S. federal government plans to spend $3 billion on STEM education programs through a variety of federal agencies. Jobs. In November 2012, the White House announcement before congressional vote on the STEM Jobs Act put President Obama in opposition to many of the Silicon Valley firms and executives who bankrolled his re-election campaign. The Department of Labor identified 14 sectors that are projected to add substantial numbers of new jobs to the economy or affect the growth of other industries or are being transformed by technology and innovation requiring new sets of skills for workers. The identified sectors were as follows: advanced manufacturing, automotive, construction, financial services, geospatial technology, homeland security, information technology, transportation, aerospace, biotechnology, energy, healthcare, hospitality, and retail. The Department of Commerce notes STEM fields careers are some of the best paying and have the greatest potential for job growth in the early 21st century. The report also notes that STEM workers play a key role in the sustained growth and stability of the U.S. economy, and training in STEM fields generally results in higher wages, whether or not they work in a STEM field. Australia. There have been numerous programs and attempts to establish a national approach to STEM education in Australia. In 2009, the STEM program was established as an enrichment program for high school students in Sydney, Australia. The program focused on providing activities for interested students and their families in STEM. The success of the program has resulted in numerous universities and science organizations supporting the program. The STEM program also organizes an enrichment program to taking students and teachers to the U.S. Space Academy program. Canada. Canada ranks 12th out of 16 peer countries in the percentage of its graduates who studied in STEM programs, with 21.2%, a number higher than the United States but lower than countries such as France, Germany, and Austria. The peer country with the greatest proportion of STEM graduates, Finland, has over 30% of their university graduates coming from science, mathematics, computer science, and engineering programs. Scouts Canada has taken similar measures to their American counterpart to promote STEM fields to youth. Their STEM program began in 2015. Schulich Leader Scholarships. In 2011, Canadian entrepreneur and philanthropist C. or Schulich established the Schulich Leader Scholarships. $100 million in $60,000 scholarships for students beginning their university education in a STEM program at 20 institutions across Canada. Each year 40 Canadian students would be selected to receive the award, 2 at each institution, with the goal of attracting gifted youth into the STEM fields. The program also supplies STEM scholarships to 5 participating universities in Israel, India. In 2015, the Ministry of Human Resource Development has set up the Rashtriya Avishkar Abhiyan, a convergent framework that aims at nurturing a spirit of inquiry and creativity, love for science and mathematics, and effective use of technology amongst children, and encourage those who show an inclination and talent for these subjects to be encouraged and supported to heights of academic excellence and research. Under this program, Rashtriya Avishkar Abhiyan will target students in the age group of 6 to 18 years, and in turn the execution of RAA will span across MHRD's schematic interventions of Sarvashiksha Abhiyan, Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan in the Department of School Education and Literacy, and programs and schemes of Department of Higher Education to encourage science, mathematics and technology. Turkish STEM Education Task Force is a coalition of academicians and teachers who show an effort to increase the quality of education in STEM fields, rather than focusing on increasing the number of STEM graduates. Qatar took the initiation to activate STEM through Al-Barak program. Al-Barak is carried out by Center for Advanced Materials at Qatar University and targets high school students with a curriculum that focuses on STEM. Al-Barak engages high school students in scientific activities which enhances their skills, motivation, and interest, and guide them in their future career. Each year around 946 students participate in Al-Barak competitions with about 40 high schools in Qatar. What is special in Al-Barak project is that it links between learning and fun, which motivate youth to join it. It doesn't depend on the ready-prepared lessons but make the students to be partners in the learning process. Al-Barak also gives the students the freedom for discovering their abilities and skills. Al-Barak engages students and increases motivation with project-based learning, encourages students to solve authentic problems, and inspires them to work with each other as a team to build real solutions. Al-Barak is cultural achievements that reflect students' humanity, power the economy for our country. The effects of Al-Barak on the secondary school students are supported by the results of a research which was carried out in Qatar, as they concluded that advanced learning environment resulted in the improvement of the students' ability to acquire and retain new knowledge. Furthermore, advanced learning environment had direct positive impact on students' attitude towards research, and students gained positive attitude towards work as well.